Welcome, everybody. Today, we're talking about the top 3 gaps we see in regards to machine guarding. So, if you've got a manufacturing facility, if you've got equipment, if you've got PITs, if you have equipment that has moving parts that need to be covered so people don't get caught in it, this applies to you. So,
Here we
all right,
go.
well, here we go. Here we go. Top 3. First, before I even say anything, if I say something weird or I cough, it's been a really weird week. Been working all different shifts, driving 8 hours. I was not prepared to go to work this week at all because this is supposed to be my week home, and I was there for 5 seconds, and I get a call from the school. Hey, can you come pick up your kid?
Yeah, we're
Nope.
only like
No, I
9 hours
can't.
away.
Nope. No, I cannot. But Papa can.
Yeah.
So have fun with that.
So machine guarding is top 3.
Yep. My number 1 by far is gross areas. And what I mean by that is like if you've got a basement, if you've got a wastewater, if you've got rendering, if you have offal, if you have a mill basement or something. I mean, wherever it is that people are not super psyched to go and they're like, it kind of smells, it's kind of dirty, it's kind of whatever that is. Maybe there's some pest control stuff going on. I don't know. If you know anything about the mills, sometimes the basements,
Wolf rat? I mean, you go to parts of it.
So I
forget the environment. Look at the animal looking at
time
you.
out. So I did see some kind of reel or something about the rats in New York City, and I was like, that looks like a wolf rat.
Yeah.
So if you
Cockroaches, we saw some big cockroaches
bigger
over the
than
last
Florida,
2 months.
bigger than Florida. I was like, well, that's something right there. So anyway, so if you've got areas that people are not super thrilled to go, usually that's where I find the most machine guarding gaps and opportunities. No pun intended on that.
And that's where we take our most time.
Yep, you got to slow it down. And here's the other thing that I would say that just I want to throw in is that if it's really that catastrophically rough in there, then maybe we need to look at housekeeping because like that's still an employee's work area too. So like let's make it not so rugged. You know what I mean? But that's where I would focus my time first is always the areas where most people don't want to go because they are neglected. They're kind of doing what they have to do to keep things going. And sometimes things just get lost. I mean, they go missing. That's just the way it is. So I would look and focus on the areas where it's not a lot of traffic for people in general.
Absolutely. You look at some of the episodes we've had or some of the people that we're involved with, there's a lot of things that we do that are dirty.
Yeah, most of it.
If you look at past episodes, we talked about that because it's not just a guarding. It can affect guarding and slip, trips, and falls and other injuries.
Here's my other PSA.
Which the guarding could also change that when you have a slip, trip, and fall. What's guarded or not?
Here's my other PSA on that. So Duluth pants, by the way, we are not sponsored by anyone. But if you go to a lot of dirty places, Duluth pants hold up really, really well for those kind of places and those environments.
If you do want to talk about sponsorship, we do have on YouTube the Alan Safety koozie in the background here.
That's not a koozie. That's a coffee cup.
Well, it says koozie at the bottom. I read the name of it.
That must be anyway. Right. You get a free stuff. If you hire us to do in-person stuff, you get free gifts, coffee cups.
Yeah, there you go.
Coffee thermoses.
We like giving stuff away.
Yep, shirts, hats, all that good stuff. Anyway, that's not the point. So the other thing that I would tell you is that if you're going to the dirty areas, make sure that you're climbing the ladders.
Yes.
So if you got a lot of flat ladders and catwalks.
And they're dirty to you, that's the first thing.
Well, that's slip, trippers, and falls.
But that's telling you a story of how often they get looked at too.
Yep, that's the biggest thing is if you don't want to put your hand on it because it's gross. Well, listen, my hands are already cracking and it's been cold for 30 seconds. So just it's telling you an entire story of like if I've got to wear gloves because I go up this because I don't want my hands to get dirty, here's some other injuries while you're there that you consider. But I would always make sure you're climbing the flat ladders, you're going to the catwalks. That's where those people are working.
That's
so
correct.
You've got to make sure that during each portion of their day, doing their different checks, what are they being exposed to from a machine guarding standpoint? So that's first. Legal disclaimer, really quick. Thorough risk assessment, site-specific stuff. This isn't, don't come for me. I'm not saying that everybody's rendering is bad. I'm not saying that everybody's mill basement has wolf rats. I'm just saying, here's some examples that we've had over 25 years. Just take some time, evaluate if you have them. And when you do any kind of implementation of a plan, make sure it's site specific. Okay.
Yep.
Don't just across the board implement stuff. Number 2, we thought we guarded it, but I can still touch whatever the moving part's on.
Right.
So maybe this is, I thought I guarded it, but I haven't been there in a while, and now that the guards are gone. Or
maybe it's the clothing. We wear blue jeans,
Yep.
pants that are tapered.
Yep.
But now we wear stuff that's loose.
Yep.
So we guarded it before almost to the knee level, but not all the way down to the foot level.
Yep. It could be things like I'm taking samples.
Absolutely.
Or I'm doing something like I'm a floor cleanup person is the one that I think of a lot of. When you're accessing different normally we're really pretty good about I guard stuff
Where I'm standing
for
right here.
Yep,
doing my job.
for
Doing my
whatever
job, everything's great.
whatever the main purpose of that area is, we guard
Yes.
it for that, but we're not always the best about evaluating, well, I have to access this, underneath here, or clean this, or
Absolutely.
sanitation, or do a wash down, or shovel spilled product, or this clogs all the time.
Right. Or maintenance
whatever
has
that
to
is.
check that area.
Yeah,
That's what they
some
have to
kind
go
of
check every day.
Well, this is I got to stand on this or set this up, or I have to access this catwalk to
Right.
set it up or tear it down or do a changeover or something.
Maybe
whatever
the
that
guarding's
is.
perfect, and during the day I put an A-frame ladder and check it twice a day. When
Yep.
now I'm in a different guarding issue.
Yep.
Yep.
So whatever that is that, we want to make sure that when we evaluate guarding, we're doing it for the entire scope of jobs and tasks that happen in that room, not just for the primary one.
Correct.
Because sometimes we do miss that.
A lot of our time, for anybody that doesn't know us, on those other times.
Yeah.
We will walk through an area and see somebody doing something that's great, but we will spend a lot of time on the breaks and the off shifts and the different hours, because that's what it means.
Now, I know that there's different concepts. There's like measuring tools and all kinds of stuff and whatever. That's fine. How I evaluate as hazard is if I can reach it, it's not guarded enough.
Yeah,
like if
but
I
you
can
get hurt
touch
in
the
it.
moving part and get injured, the entire purpose of a machine guard is to prevent me from accessing the point of operation and getting injured. So if I can still do that, to me, the guard wasn't enough or effective or didn't cover enough or whatever. We may need to modify it, because the point is I shouldn't be able to touch the moving part.
Absolutely.
So that's the other part, is that a lot of times we have guards from equipment that maybe came from the manufacturer or something.
Absolutely.
But where we placed it, fans, the old fans are a big one.
Right.
Like
You
older
move down
fans
the
on a
ground
production
level.
floor. Yep. They don't have the tight enough guards. Now I can reach my whole hand in there. So number 3, before we get to that, because we're going to talk about like where to find all of this and how to identify it. Number 3, product jams.
Absolutely.
So product jams to me means like either something in rendering backed up, or some, we
Packaging machine.
I'm trying to reach whatever the cause of, I'm going to reach into that real quick.
Yep.
And either shove it down to clear the jam, or I'm going to reach in there and pull it out. And maybe there's a tool that I have, but it doesn't do a good enough job.
And that can be conveyors. That can be augers. It can be anything that's
So sorry.
moving.
1,000 apologies.
And something gets clogged or jammed, and you're thinking, I'm just going to get that other real quick.
Yeah, or maybe I normally have a tool, but I don't see it, and I got to get it
Right.
real quick, so it's not handy. I'm going to just do it real quick. Whatever I'm just going to do it real quick to fix the problem is, because I don't want to lock out, or the tool's not handy, or it's ineffective,
Right.
whatever that is. That's probably my biggest thing. So when you're walking around, and if you see anybody shoving things down to their shoulder, or reaching in, and now they're exposed to like a roller or a blade,
Or you see their
some kind of like thing that resets.
hard hat move down.
Yeah, you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? So it could be a conveyor,
Absolutely.
trash in a conveyor or something. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm going to reach in there real quick. And so it goes back to time. And we'll do an episode on time
Absolutely.
here, because that's a huge portion of my injury. So we'll do that here in a few weeks. But product jams, to either try and a lot of the reasons why, and we'll go to
Why do they jam?
So change. My biggest thing is, how do we identify when all these things happen? My number one cause for a lot of this stuff is when we change something.
Right.
Whatever it is. So maybe it's changing the product line. Maybe it's changing the size of the animal. Maybe it's changing the formulation. So now I have maybe more % fat in my feed, and now it's caking up.
Maybe it's the product is a certain brand or certain kind of packaging.
Yep.
Or
certain mixture or recipe or ingredients or whatever. Or it could be change, like I'm doing my once a week wash down. or maybe it's I'm changing shifts from
Maybe I'm
first to
doing
second, and I've
sanitation
gotten
now.
people going on and off. Or
Yep.
now I'm trying to switch from sanitation to production, or production to sanitation.
Well, you'll see
And I'm
sometimes
disassembling or I'm assembling. Anytime we're doing something, we're pretty good at managing. Here's what we do all the time, whatever that is,
Yep.
whatever our normal routine business is. We usually have a lot of stuff in place for that. It's whenever you see a change, and maybe the change is the weather. If you've got part of your operation outside, maybe the change is the lighting because now it's nighttime, or we're doing energy savings. When you see a change, we inherently add more risk, and we don't always capture what that looks like. And so that can result in either missing guards because now I can't see. So I'm
Right.
taking stuff off and I'm getting close to it because I can't see. It's dark, or
Right.
whatever the case, or maybe, whatever. When I have that change, that's when I have the opportunity to start taking off guards or removing guards.
So these top 3 things actually all come together.
Yeah.
Start doing change.
Yeah. So where do I find this? Check your outlying areas. Check your off shifts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then anytime you can, just sit down and think and make a list of here's all the times we have a change in our business within a week, whatever,
Right.
or a 2-week or whatever, if you continuous runs and stuff. Whenever I have a change in product, a change in line, a change in employees and shifts and process
Go look at it.
and equipment,
Yep.
go evaluate during those change times.
That's what we do. We If you were around us the last few years, they'd be like, we're doing this process in an hour. Good. What time you got a break? 10.
Yeah.
That's
when we want to go, because we're changing. We're now stopping production to go to a break. We have changed.
Yeah. Let's figure out what that is.
Yep.
Yeah,
those would be my top things of when to identify the places that have maybe guarding issues, the places where maybe have gaps in the guarding, or there's exposed, or we've removed stuff, and then the product jam opportunity to see that happen.
Absolutely. So that's our top 3 for that.
That's my top 3.
If you want more data, you can always go to the coaching site.
Yep, I've got a whole module.
We don't have sponsors, everybody. So all we have is
no. Yeah. So let me just explain that really quick too. So we created the coaching site. Joe and I created it ourselves. We produced it ourselves, recorded ourselves, all this stuff, created the website ourselves. And so we took all of these subjects and we're doing deep dives, more examples, how to apply it, how to fix it, how to identify it, how to work through it. And then you have the opportunity after what we've got over 100 videos on there, over 18 different subjects.
Yep. You can ask questions.
You can email us questions for free on application if you've got site specific application questions. So
that's it.
All right, guys. Well, that's machine guarding this week.
Top 3.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Safe, Efficient, Profitable, a worker safety podcast. If you're looking for more in-depth discussions or step-by-step solutions on all of the different safety and regulatory topics, please visit us at www.allensafetycoaching.com for web-based virtual coaching and training, or at www.allen-safety.com to book our team for on-site services, training sessions, to order merchandise, to learn more about our team and what services we provide in the field, or just simply to request a topic for us to cover on our next podcast. If you found today's podcast helpful and would like to support our podcast further, please help us by subscribing, liking, and sharing this podcast with anyone that could benefit from the information we cover here, as that helps us to continue to put out this free content. Thank you so much for your support.